Hello everyone, welcome back to the non-league treatment room with me, Cookie. As always, Davo is not alongside me. He is in front of me on a screen. This is the first time we are doing an online one. We've had some technical difficulties already, but it's all good fun. We're looking forward to doing this. It's something different, branching out, ain't we, mate? Branching out.
When Andrew says technical difficulties, he basically means me. I am
Correct.
a walking technical difficulty, but we've got there in the end.
We have got there in the end, yeah. This will obviously help us massively in terms of reaching guests all over the country. Maybe the world, who knows?
Maybe the universe.
Maybe the universe, correct.
Yeah.
But yeah, hope everyone's well. Hope you're listening. Hope you are enjoying it. And obviously, make sure you go listen to some of our other episodes as well. We've got a few honourable mentions. Jazz Singh and Tom Tonks in Tamworth FA Cup. Beat Burton. Got Tottenham next.
Just a little team in London, ain't there, really?
Yeah, just a little team. Should be alright. I've already asked for tickets, but no response yet.
No, I don't think we'll get any, mate.
No. Obviously, commiserations to Kettering and Labs and the team there and Dev. Fell short against Doncaster. Very good, though. Very, very good. I thought they were unlucky, weren't they?
I thought they were. I think that fitness prevailed in the end. Obviously, a talisman like Billy Sharp, you can't give him a sniff, but I thought Kettering made a really good account of themselves. I love the lad in the middle. He was man of the match for me, for Kettering. He was
Noah
incredible.
Williams.
Yeah.
Very good.
I think his old man played for Watford.
Yeah, I did see his old man was there. Looked very happy when he scored. But looking forward to this.
To a man, I thought they were brilliant.
Definitely. Looking forward to this guest tonight. It's someone that our listeners won't know very well in terms of as a player. He's not a player. He's not a manager. But he's very involved in football and non-league football, and he's done amazing things, which people will probably know of Through the Turnstile, Park to Pitches, and editing that he's done for some clubs. So I'm really looking forward to this because he's been a massive part for us at the non-league treatment room, hasn't he?
I was about to add that. Been our first point of contact, really.
100%. I have probably messaged this man more than my missus. I'm not even joking. So let's get him in. Let's do it because he's waiting patiently. So in the treatment room tonight, we have a brilliant guest who's a massive love for non-league football and football in general. From editing to writing, he's the founder of Through the Turnstiles of non-league football and the all-new Park to Pitches magazine. He recently won gold at the Football Content Award for the best non-league editorial. Please welcome Christian Obray.
Christian, how are you, my man?
Hello, guys. Oh, what a welcome. What a welcome. Oh.
I've written that one without ChatGTP as well.
Oh,
well done, Cookie.
Yeah, that's from the heart, that is.
Appreciate it.
Yeah, welcome, mate. Thank you for joining us. Obviously, people might think, why are we doing this online? It's because you're down south, aren't you? Where is it? Where is it? Kent?
Yeah, that's it. Yeah, in the southeast. Yeah, tucked away.
So it's quite a long journey.
It was a really strange relationship at the start because I was trying to picture what Christian would look like because I only knew him as a name in my phone book.
Sorry to disappoint.
But then obviously we had a couple of little Zooms, didn't we? Was it in lockdown?
No. It's just last year, weren't it?
Oh, was it?
When we started up, weren't it? When we had a few questions and a bit of advice on it. But I'm gonna start and just say a massive thank you to you because
absolutely, yeah,
you've helped me massively with editing and things like that. You've done editing for us. You've given us advice when we've needed it. So I'm going to praise you now because, honestly, you are a massive part of this team, even though you do your own things with Through the Turnstile and Park to Pitches. But you are a big part of this team, so I'm just going to say thank you for your help. And I'm really buzzing to have this conversation with you, to be fair, because the stuff you've done is really positive. and it's really, really good. So I'm looking forward to deep diving a little bit into how it all started.
No, I appreciate that. Yeah, you guys know that from the start I've always been there to sort of guide you guys, and you've just taken it to the next level. So it's a pleasure to be a part of it. So yeah.
Yeah, thank you, mate. I'm going to kick off with, what do you love about non-league football?
This is something that keeps coming up, actually, and I find it really hard to sort of put it into words. So growing up, I was a Gills fan, still a Gills fan, unfortunately, some may say. But I think my love of non-league football come at a time where the atmosphere and the matchday experience at Gills was probably the worst it's ever been. So getting introduced to non-league football at that time, it sort of opened my eyes to a completely different like community spirit and sort of togetherness. So I think from doing everything and what it means to me now is just that togetherness and the community that is within non-league is just it's hard to explain. Yeah, you just can't put it into words. You can't explain it. It's such a night in like a time where there's so much negativity and so much like horrible things going on. I think it is that little pinch of good. Everyone I've dealt with within the non-league has just been like brilliant. So it's quite refreshing. It's quite a nice refreshing football. Yeah.
Well, obviously you've been around in non-league for how long now, Christian? How long have you been doing your bit now?
So I only started in February. So the initial sort of article I wrote was based on people turning away from like league football to go to the non-league scene. I just sort of took that on as part of a spin-off of what I was doing in my day-to-day job. Just wrote it on the side and was just like bombarded with people that were like, "Oh, I've moved from Tottenham to like Kettering. I've moved from this team to that team," and I was just like, "Wow!" So it just spiraled from that, and on the back of that, I just sort of just like really got ingrained in everything around non-league. But yeah, since February really, so it's been a bit of a whirlwind since then.
But before that though, like you had a lot of like sort of involvement in non-league, didn't you, with your local teams and stuff like that?
Yes, yeah. So yeah, before that I was, so it started probably about 3-4 years ago. I was doing some like match day highlight editing for a local club, Rochester, who were they wanted to sort of branch out into like some online social media stuff. So I said, I'm quite keen at doing some video editing. I love football. I'll be happy to help. So I worked with them for about 6 months. And then from there, I moved to another team, Cranfield United, who I've been doing the editing for I think I've done it for just over a year. And now I've just moved to Nuneaton Town. So yes, from about 3 years ago, I've sort of been in and around it, but never really getting under the skin of non-league. It's sort of just been doing the match day editing on the side.
Yeah. I think that no one asked a question about like what you love about non-league. I think like you summed it up really well, Davo. No, that the clip I put on the Tom Tonks where you said about league football and professional football is like a business, isn't it?
Yeah.
Whereas non-league is you can have a chat with the fans, you can have a chat with players and people in the bar. You know what I mean? So
yeah, it's completely different atmosphere. As soon as you walk through, like you feel like you're sort of seen. Like, it's a weird feeling, but yeah, it is completely different to what I was used to, at least. So yeah, it's refreshing.
How has it all been since the Football Content Awards and winning? Obviously, it's been 3 weeks, 4 weeks, 3 weeks. I'd say.
Yeah, a couple of weeks. Yeah, a whirlwind, to be honest. To be nominated, like I say, when it only started back in February, so when it come through that I've been like shortlisted and was in that last sort of few that have made it, I was like, whoa, this is crazy. And then you get all of the follow-ups and stuff, and then on the night, I sort of had in my head, I was like, if I'm going to sneak a bronze, like I'd be cheeky and sneak a bronze. I was like, that'll do me. And then when it would come like bronze went out and silver went out, I was like, damn. You know, I never expected to win anything, but in the back of your mind, you're like, oh, what if? You never know. And then after them two, like then bronze and silver had been announced, I was like, oh, nah. And then it just sort of, everything just stopped. And then it said Through the Turnstile for the gold. And I was like, oh my God. There's a few reaction videos which I haven't shared yet, but yeah, it was.
Have you not?
No, not yet. No, it was just a weird feeling. So weird.
It's incredible, isn't it? Because obviously we were at the same awards, but a year previous. And we were just saying that we were enjoying the experience, weren't we, Cookie?
Yeah, we
and
were just happy to be there.
The three of us went up there as a team. We got a hotel because ours was at Anfield. Where was yours, Christian?
Tottenham. Yeah.
Superb. So
yeah, lovely venue.
We paid for a hotel. We went up there. We had lunch, didn't we, Cookie? We had a couple of beers, and then we got into Anfield, and we were just like, look, this is just suck it in. Do you know what I mean? Just make the experience what you can. We networked, met some really cool people. Never expected to come where we did we, Cookie? And it was just like...
No, not at all. You're just happy to be there, innit? You know what I mean? Especially when like we started speaking to people and they were like, yeah, this is like, we've been doing it for 10 years. We've been doing it for 15 years. And we're like, yeah, we're like 6 months old. And they're like, really? Like,
yes.
And we're like, yeah, like they're like, yeah, we've been doing it for ages. And we're like, wow, like... So then it puts it in a bit of perspective going, oh, we've done something here, which people have obviously voted and nominated. And I think you kicked it all off, if I'm honest with you. I think you did, Christian.
Yeah.
On Twitter.
I might. Yeah, I think I might have sure. Yeah.
Because we didn't know what it was. And we were like, and you tagged us in someone in Twitter and I was like, what's this? I was like, oh, we'll jump on that then. So yeah, like we completely understand probably how you felt, but I want to go into, we'll talk more about the FCAs a little bit later on, but how did you get into editing?
So originally I got into editing overall through my day job. So my day-to-day job, I'm like a marketing manager for a bus company, and they were looking at bringing some of the video editing in-house. And so I was like, well, it's always sort of appealed to me. So I was like, put my hand up, went and done a 2-day course in London just to learn the basics like Premiere Pro and stuff. And that was a real baptism of fire, because it's a crazy system. You can do so much on it. And so I done that, and then sort of tinkered around with some videos, done some home videos and stuff, and then sort of got into I really want to do some football stuff as well. So I done that, and then I started editing my own podcast. So using Premiere Pro, which it's not not particularly used for audio only, but because I'd learnt on that system, I sort of kept with it. It's just something that fascinates me. I think it's so cool to see raw video turned into something completely different that people enjoy. Yeah.
How have you found it going into football then? You obviously mentioned you're doing stuff for Nuneaton Town, and was it Cranston or Chatham?
Cranfield United before that, yeah.
Cranfield United. So how did them opportunities come around of doing it for football clubs and editing their highlights and stuff like that? Because that's a pretty cool thing. It's more and more in non-league, isn't it? You see a lot non-league. They've got the VOs set up and that. Averson's got one in it, and there's a lot more now of non-league of showing highlights and stuff. I think it's gone massive, isn't it?
Yeah. There's a lot. So I mean, the Cranfield one come about. I just as a lot of the stuff that I've done, I've just shouted on social, looking to help a local team. Does anyone want a video editor? And Cranfield manager reached out, Jason, and said, yeah, we've got some VO that we record. Can you turn it into some highlights? So I was like, yeah, cool. And then the Nuneaton one come about, obviously listening to you guys and stuff and some of the stories about Nuneaton Borough and stuff and then their rebirth. I sort of was looking around then. I've done obviously a feature on them now, but I sort of reached out to the club and said, I don't know if this is something of interest to you, but I'd be really excited to get involved and help you guys out if it's something you want to do. And yeah, they've been brilliant, to be fair. They got a really cool little team set up there. So it's so
funny, isn't it? How we're based in the Midlands, you're
Full
based
circle,
down
isn't
south,
it? Yeah.
and then you're doing something for Nuneaton, which is I live in Nuneaton.
Yeah.
It's like how crazy is that? It's like, and I know we know a lot of the Nuneaton players, don't we, Davo? And
Yeah.
you know, Darren Acton. We've tried to get him on the podcast quite a few times, but he's
Busy man.
Is a busy man. Yeah. Yeah, like the whole story in Nuneaton, obviously I'm sure you've probably looked into that and seen the journey they've been on, which is crazy. But yeah, the editing stuff is really cool.
I've even tried to do it myself. I honestly, so obviously for the people that don't know, all I literally do is speak. Cookie does the editing, and obviously Christian's helped us out with editing as well. So I've started this new job, and I'm working in a college now, and I've started up a podcast, and the students love it, and you know it's student led, so I'm giving them all the responsibility, but with timetables it's rough. So I'm using this thing called Order City at the minute. Jesus Christ, I sat there yesterday for 2 hours just trying to cut a little bit out, and I don't know how you've got the patience for it. I was punching my laptop screen. That's probably why it weren't working properly earlier.
Yeah, probably. Yeah,
but it is like you said. You did that course in London. So when you first started out, and I don't know if I'm hitting this point too early, Cookie. But like, what's the vision now, Chris? Like, what are you thinking now towards your editing and stuff like that?
What, in terms of like the match day highlights and stuff?
Yeah, just in general, like where are you looking at taking it?
To be honest, I don't really. It's one of them things I probably don't have an end goal in mind for. Like I do podcast editing for people. Predominantly, I actually do quite a lot of podcast editing for people in America. Obviously, it's massive in America. So I've got a few clients in America that I do podcasts for, and the video stuff I just do because I really enjoy. I don't think there is. To be honest, the only end goal I've got with video editing is it's a little bit of a, not really a tease because I've sort of hinted at it before, but I'd love to do at some point a non-league documentary.
Brilliant.
Yeah, that'd be really cool.
I've got the video sort of style to do the documentary. Like a lot of people use all of the Flash After Effects stuff, which is a completely different ball game. But the raw footage turned into a documentary, I feel comfortable that I would be able to do that. But it's a massive investment in time.
Yeah, it is. But you know what? I think so many people would jump on it.
Absolutely.
I really do. Like, and obviously we're bringing up things, but like part to pictures, like look how many people jumped on that.
Yeah.
And that group chat you've got me in is constantly non-stop.
Yeah. Yeah, sorry about that.
It's great. Like,
some passionate guys in there.
Yeah, very passionate guys in there, and the stuff they talk about and what they do is like it's incredible. Yeah, something like a documentary. There's always talk of was it the Jamie Vardy like a film, the Jamie Vardy film or something?
What, I always heard Stockbridge, Steels, all the way up.
I always heard a rumour that there was going to be a Jamie Vardy film and who was going to play him about his journey. I thought that'd be a really good film or documentary to watch there, and because you don't find as much, do you, really, of non-league documentaries of where people have come from. I think a bunch of amateurs do it really well.
Yeah.
In terms of showcasing Dorking and stuff, I think that's really cool, and I think they do another team, don't they?
Yeah, Range Park Vale.
Which is really cool. But yeah, like it's fair play for the fair play.
That's definitely something we jump on, wouldn't it, be Cookie, if you ever needed anyone, like, you know, I think that'd be amazing. I think that'd be an incredible story.
It could be one for next year, I think. Yeah. I already thought of you as a main man, Cookie, so that's fine.
No chance.
You're playing Vardy.
Bloody hell.
Get the Red Bulls in.
Yeah, definitely.
Yeah, no, that would be brilliant. But yeah, like I say, it's probably a longer term. To be honest, it was probably going to be a more shorter term had things not gone the way they have this year. It's sort of expedited other things in replace of that. So yeah, it's just a juggling act, really, I suppose.
Yeah, definitely. Do you get to many non-league games, or
Not as many as I'd like to. I do get around to some. I'd like to go every weekend, but I physically can't, just because of X, Y, Z.
Yeah. So are you, even though you're a Gillingham fan,
Yeah.
you used to go quite a lot when you were younger and stuff like that, and then
Yeah.
did that sort of end, and that's when you found non-league and you started going non-league instead?
Yeah, so I was a season ticket holder from like the age of 6 to 19. And then sort of went uni for a few years, and sort of, because I couldn't commit because I was away back. And then went to the occasional game every like couple of years sort of thing, but then started going to more non-league stuff, and then through the work and stuff I've sort of just been exposed to more and more. And sort of, my dad was saying to the other day, he said, he said, you got to come back to the Jewels. I said, yeah, but I'm enjoying exploring all this other stuff now. So I know he'd like to see me there more at the Jewels.
They might be in non-league soon, innit?
Don't you start. That's what Emma keeps saying to me as well. She went, you can do a feature on them next year. I went, don't. You can cut that out. Yeah. But yeah, no, they do need to pick the wins up, to be fair. But yeah.
Yeah. Because I was thinking, like, Gillingham, like, I haven't heard from them for a while, and I swear they used to be like quite high, massive, weren't they? Like,
yeah. Championship at one stage, I think.
Championship for about 5 years, I think it was. Pulis, and then Hesse took over. Championship, for a good few years, and then League. We were established League One for most of our sort of time, sort of thing, and then dipped in and out of League Two a few times, a few promotions and stuff. But we've been in League Two for a good few years now, and it's getting to that point where you're looking, are we going to be like a Bradford and just not ever get out, because recruitment's just not worked out for a few seasons now.
Yeah,
churning through managers. It's not the glory days anymore.
Well, I feel like Cov's going to become like that now. We've got Lampard in. It all depends how Lampard goes, and if he wants a bigger club, he'll go, and we'll just be a stepping stone club of churning managers out left, right, and centre. So I hope I'm wrong, but we'll see. We'll see.
Give him a chance, Andrew.
Well, they've got Millwall this weekend, so we beat them last time, I think.
Away.
Yeah,
Millwall
away.
Yeah, I was at that one, which you reminded me. Yeah, obviously my other half is Millwall. Our whole family's Millwall, and I was dragged along to that game. And was it 5-0? Was it 4-0?
It was a bit of a hammering, yeah.
Quite amusing.
Yeah. Through the Turnstile of non-league football, how did that come about? Where did that vision, where did that idea come from? Obviously, you're repping the T-shirt, the brand, which I love.
Yeah.
How did that start?
And obviously, for the people that are listening that have maybe not heard of Through the Turnstile, tell us a little about what it is as well.
Yeah. So that initial sort of article that I wrote was the from league to non-league, and on the back of that, it got so many shares, so many views and stuff. People were saying they really loved it. Like they really wanted to see more like article-based non-league stuff. And they said, you should make, a series and stuff and feature different people. And I was like, okay. So I was going away and I was looking at different things, what we could do. And I was like, what could I do that would help non-league clubs? I already do the editing side, but it's not infinite. I don't have the time to do 4 or 5 clubs. So I was like, right, let's think carefully. And I was like, well, I could do like bios essentially on a club, with the sort of goal of taking a non-league club that people may or may not have heard of and doing an A to Z from top to bottom on what that club looks like, where they are, sort of their history, their kit, their shop, and then include some staff interviews, some fan interviews. And then I try to, I think nearly all of them, I get an interview or some questions answered by the chairman about their 5-year plan. So it's really like under the microscope of a club, and also gives fans of that club some info that they probably wouldn't even know themselves, even though they're fans of the club. Essentially it just sort of span off of that, and I just sort of was like, well, let's do that, because exposure is as valuable a thing non-league teams as anything else, really. So yeah, I'd done that, and then I thought, well, I could also branch off and interview some key players in the non-league scene as well. So I've done interviews with loads of different people and like shine a light on some of the stuff that they're doing. Probably the marquee one that I was buzzing to get was Lars, the founder of Footballogy.
Yes,
that was incredible to when he got back to me and stuff, and he was back and forth. I was like, oh, that was pretty exciting. But yeah, it sort of just spun from there, and I think it coincided with me falling in love with the whole scene and like the community that was building up on the social pages, that I was like, I just wanted to do something to help. And yeah,
I think it's definitely helped. Like,
massively. Yeah.
Like
And the thing is, as well, it's a great thing because, you know, there's a lot of people in football that are doing things just for their own sort of personal spotlight.
Yeah.
Whereas what you're doing is not only helping yourself out, but it's helping the club out as well.
Yeah.
You know, I think that's a really integral part of it, what I feel. I mean,
yeah, definitely promoting and giving people a chance, you know what I mean? Giving people a chance to share their story and let their club be known and stuff. And because you've done clubs that I've never heard of, and you read about it and you go, okay, I didn't know about that club and or that person and that and whatnot. And it's some of
the stuff as well. Like when I was just speaking to some of the chairmen about like Southend United, for instance, some of the community engagement stuff they do for their like season ticket holders. They've got a brand new clubhouse, and any season ticket holder for a birthday can have it for free and have a birthday party there. And it's just some of the stories that you find out when I'm like doing these features and stuff, and some of the fans and their stories of why they've become fans of the club. I don't know. I find them just as interesting writing them than obviously some people have said that they enjoy reading them. So
yeah. Have you got a favourite one? I know it's hard to say.
Yeah,
I'm asking you. You asked me.
I know.
You asked me.
I did write some little key points down in preparation for these sort of things. In terms of a favourite, I've got favourites for different things. It's like Fisher stood out because of the backdrop to their pitch and the food, just immense. There's a few clubs like Stafford Rangers stood out just because of the staff, especially like Alison. She was just so sweet, and she's one of them people that I've still stayed in touch with today, just chatting about stuff and just talking about football. So actually a recent story with Alison is they've got a fan which read the Stafford feature, and she's based in America, and she become a fan of Stafford years ago, I think, through a partner or something. I can't remember the backstory. But as a result of that, I linked up her with Alison, who's like the club secretary, and they've sent out some free merch to her over to America. So sort of like bringing some of the clubs together. But I don't really have like a standout favourite. They've all got amazing stuff, but I think the key thing that binds them all has been the staff and the people that I've spoken to. They've all just been like incredible.
Do you find, Chris, that the different sort of regions and areas that you go, clubs are ran differently, or you see like certain patterns? So obviously you've done a lot of teams down south, and then you've sort of drifted up to the Midlands. Do you find that some things are like the same or different, or
do you find do you find something like very similar?
I think from experience, I would say the further away from the south I've gone, be tactical with my words, the
food's got worse.
No, it's got
the air's thicker.
Apart from them two, I think it's just that some of the clubs that I've featured at least have been easier and more receptive. Some of the clubs in the south have been a struggle to get certain bits out of, and that could be for a multitude of reasons. Some of the clubs that I featured in the south are operating at a higher level, so the free time they've got on isn't as much. But on the whole, that was probably. I mean, they've all got I've all had challenges with everything. But yeah, I would say the Midlands team so far, I would say, have been the most receptive and like just throwing things at me, which has been good.
Definitely.
No surprise there, is there, Cookie? Do you know what I mean? The Midlands is just great.
Well, yeah.
Did you get and obviously you've not got to name clubs here, Christian, but just you get turned away.
There's been some instances with some clubs that have ghosted me a few times. So there's been like an initial agreement and stuff, and then it's gone cold. But no, not generally. There's been one recent one where it went really didn't go the way I was hoping it was going to go. But on the whole, the first few were the hardest, to be fair. The first few getting buying because there was nothing to show them this is what I'm doing. They were a bit sceptical of it and they weren't really sure if they wanted to let that access, which I understand, like unknown quantity and stuff. It's got easier as there's a backlog on the website now, so you can just say, well, have a look, this is what I got in mind, sort of thing. But yeah, still difficult with some clubs. There's some clubs that I really want to do that just haven't either got back to me or just won't entertain it at the moment, which is frustrating. But
I did have a look through, and you haven't gone any higher than step 3, I would say. So Stafford Rangers must be the highest club I think you may have featured.
Yeah.
Is there any reason you've not branched out into the National League North or South or even National League?
Yes and no. It wasn't a conscious effort, conscious decision, sorry. But as it's gone on, I've sort of steered away from that just because I wanted to shine a light on clubs that potentially don't get anything. Because even at that level, they get some exposure, more so. But I feel like I'm a fighter for the underdogs. So I wanted to sort of shine a light on the underdogs that get sort of forgotten about, and those extra 10 fans that might go on the back of an article they've read. That means so much more to them than it would to a National League side or a National League. So, yeah, I think that's my...
I'll
tell you, there's a couple of things what I think would go on with the clubs in the Midlands as well, Cookie. Do you sort of like try and go to different leagues, Christian, or have you like worked with 2 different teams in the same league? Or
yeah, there's been probably the most I've done is probably the Ishmael and Prem. So there's been a few teams I've done: Cray Valley, Cray Wanderers, Chatham, and top of my head, Dartford. So there's been like a few, and that's predominantly it's my neck of the woods, so it's sort of it makes sense. But I've got a map now that I've created where I've got like pins dropped of where I've featured, and I'm making more like a conscious effort to fill the board in and make sure there's coverage for everywhere. So I'm starting to work up north and stuff. So
I can just imagine Chris in some awkward situations, Cookie, where he's working with Cray and Cray Wanderers, and the gaffer goes to him, how much is their budget then? What are they on?
Get feeder questions.
Yeah.
So you probably, like, if you're owner of a club, you might look at these and go, oh, what is that club doing different? What could we pick out of that? What could we do? It's like, some people might start seeing things, oh, they do a good food menu, I might start doing that. But I love that answer about you want to shine a light on those smaller non-league teams, which I think is fantastic and it's brilliant, and it's definitely well deserved for them to have that line, that sort of that light shining on them. And I wanted to ask that question because I wanted to see the response, because like National League to me is League 3.
Yeah,
they're all full time.
Oh yeah.
It's and it's like they're all professional clubs and stuff, and even the Conference North and South is getting a little bit like that as well. But it's nice that you keep it very low down, and we haven't seen an Aviston one yet, have we?
No, not yet. Not yet.
I think that's a really interesting point what you've just brought up though as well, Cookie, and it made me realise like how much is developed in non-league now, where, and I'm talking like on the social media side of things as well, You get people that, you get your ground hoppers, which is like been going quite a long time, and they're doing their vlogs and all sorts of stuff like that. But then you get people that just go to the grounds to review the foods. I don't know if you've seen that on Facebook. There's a guy that goes around and just takes the pictures of the foods. And I just think it's incredible how much it's grew, hasn't it? Like, and they'll compare, like, I think I've seen, he travelled over to Germany and got like a sausage and stuff, and like compared it to the stuff over here and that, and I find it incredible. You can take it so far, can't you? You can really break it down and take so much from all of football as an aspect, but also non-league as well. I find it incredible.
And I think this weekend, like the weekend just gone, the FA Cup is so important for it. Look how much limelight that non-league, that Kettering, Tamworth, it's honestly like it's I think it's the best competition for every level of English football, because everyone 100%. Gets a chance, don't they?
100%.
You know what I mean? Like,
I was cheering at the telly when that draw was made. I was so happy for them. Such a good draw.
Let's have an adult conversation here. How much do you reckon Tamworth have made so far?
I was talking to someone at work about this, and I was like, they've got to be in like 200 grand easy.
Do you reckon?
I reckon it's
200 plus.
250, 300. Because you got
the prize money for that round was 75 grand, I think.
But then you get TV rights.
Yeah.
Round 2 was 75 grand.
So then it'd be like 30, probably the round before it's 100. I think this round's 125 in it or something like that. It might have gone up.
Something like that, yeah.
I think you're in an awkward position then, aren't you? Because as much as Tamworth want to play at home,
you want to play away.
They'd have made so much more money if it had been away, wouldn't it? So much more. Or am I wrong in saying that?
Yeah, they would have, because they would have, obviously, if Tottenham's would have had, even if they would have had 30,000 there.
Yes, 50-50.
50-50 at the gate. But it's more the fact that the players get a chance to go to Tottenham and play on that pitch. Yeah. Tom Tonks launching a massive throw on Tottenham Hotspur's ground. Like, I bet he'd love it. You know what I mean? Like, and stuff like that.
It's lovely as well, to be fair. As much as it pains me to say the stadium.
Well, it all opens up, don't it? It all opens up, and like the NFL pitch comes up. And
so
crazy.
Cool.
What's your just while we're on this topic? Sorry if I'm cutting you up, Cookie.
No, go for it.
What's your opinion on the no replays now, Chris?
Do you know what? I was talking about this earlier. I was speaking to Emma, my partner, earlier about it. I'm still of the opinion that I think they should have replays. I can see an argument for getting rid of them, but I don't agree with it. So as much as they argue that it's, this, that and the other, I think the FA Cup is such a thing that, some of the ties that have just gone, they've missed out on a replay and X amount of money that would have, sustained the club for another year or so. But I just think it's one of them things that you always grew up and you knew that if you get a replay, it's massive. Bring it back to our place. I would love to have kept him. I think there will be pressure, but if it's anything like the VAR pressure that they've seen, they'll just ignore it until everyone be quiet.
Well, that's it. Like, it's that the people on the higher levels and stuff. They make these decisions and don't think about non-league. They don't think about how it can affect a non-league club. I mean, obviously, every year there's non-league teams that do well, and obviously we had Harbour, what a journey Harbour went on.
Incredible.
Like, and they were like winning at Reading as well.
Yeah.
Well, in some cases though, I agree with you, Cookie. Like, a club might have a non-league club might have a really good FA Cup run, and that keeps them afloat for next season.
Well, I think I remember Mark White saying it. He didn't say it to us, but I think I heard it on someone else, and he went like, you can't always plan in the budget for an FA Cup run, but they're so important because that revenue, that money, can keep you going for another couple of years, or you can go, okay, we haven't got to find a minute. If you're out the first, even in the preliminary rounds, if you're out in those, you're like, oh, where's this money coming from? We've got to find another sponsor, or we've got to do this, or we've got to do that. And obviously you can't bank on FA Cup money, but it's if you get a good couple of rounds, even in the lower rounds, it's it's bang on. You know what I mean?
Yeah, like look at it when we were at Aberston as well, Cookie, and we had that little vase run.
Yeah,
and we were bringing in, what was it, like £1,000 to, something like that. Helped us out massively.
Yeah, I think, the club must have made some good money on that vase run because we got to the quarterfinals. So that would have been a good couple of thousand, which for a club for Aberston could keep them going for a long time unless you're paying your players a lot of money. But
I remember I was reading the book by, I can't remember his surname, Jonathan, the one that done Nowhere to Run. The Ashton United chairman, and he was mentioning about the FA Cup and how because when they took over, obviously they run into loads of unexpected costs that they didn't know were there, and how important that FA Cup run was, and they were just banking on getting through a few rounds so they could get that money. So even a few years ago, like when they were talking about the FA Cup, it's so important. But yeah, I just think it's the one cup that is still has so much gravitas across the whole of the Football League. Unfortunately, I don't think they'll bring replays back, but but I would love to see it because I think it is important.
Like even a club that you're working with now, or sorry, not working with, but were Nuneaton Borough, the original Nuneaton Borough. I mean, when I was in year 11 or 10, they played Middlesbrough at home and drew, and then went over to the Riverside, Middlesbrough player. Yeah. And I mean, Nuneaton probably took about 2,500, and it's just like that's what it's all about, man. Yeah. Like, and money to the side, just that experience of you being at Manor Park and watching Mendieta and Gareth Southgate play, and then you going over to it at the time at Premier League Stadium. It's what dreams are made of, isn't it? That's what you want as a player and as a fan. That's what you want. I feel.
It's like now, like if Tamworth are going to play Tottenham, if they were to get a draw, like Andy Peakes, he could have that plan of, okay, let's try and hold for a draw. But now there's no point holding out for a draw because it just goes to penalties or it goes to extra time. So there's no game plan now of let's hold out for a draw, take it back to Tottenham, or it's either we lose or we try and win the game, basically.
It moves the scales in their favour because essentially you can't really, you've got to win it in 90 for most of these non-league clubs because the longer the game goes, the fitness becomes a massive issue.
Exactly, yeah.
So not only are you're taking away the replays, but you're taking away, like you say, the game plan, and also you're taking away the opportunity of extra time and stuff because you're just going to be run ragged by that point.
Yeah, definitely.
Yeah, it's a shame.
I still feel that Tamworth can. I'm not going to say win the game comfortably, but you just never know, do you?
No.
Like Topsy launches one in, mate. I mean, Tottenham's first team goalkeeper's out injured at the minute.
Yeah,
but it's also they've got to come to Tamworth. They've got to go on to a 4G. They've got to do all that. And I know obviously they're Premier League players, so they shouldn't affect them. But when I was watching the Kettering Doncaster game, in the first 10 minutes, I could see Doncaster were like, "What the fuck is this? Like, what is this? What is this pitch? What the fuck?" Because Kettering were all over them, and even more like they were having so many chances and stuff, and you're thinking, like, they're like running Doncaster ragged here, like, you know what I mean? And obviously it's credit to Lavs, he's put a great team together and whatnot, but you like. It's so strange to see, but it's also brilliant to see. And it's like, yes, happy days. Like, this is great. Like, you know what I mean? But, Tottenham have got to come to the Lamb. They've got to come on 4G. They've got to face people like Tom Tonks and other players who are, got long throws and probably will put a challenge in as well. I bet they're going to be, so it's...
Yeah, it's not going to be an easy game.
I'm interested to see how Spurs are going to line up. I am, because obviously they won't go full strength, but...
Well, do you remember when they played Marine? Tottenham, they played Marine in an FA Cup game. It must have been years ago, and I think Harry Kane played... I don't know if Gareth Bale was still there. I can't remember. Possibly not. I can't remember. But I know that like Harry Kane played, and there was some big name players who played against Marine because that was on telly as well. What do you think the biggest challenge is facing non-league today? Obviously, doing all these features, being involved in non-league, what sort of challenges do you feel non-league clubs are struggling with at the minute or are facing?
So I think there's something that they're currently struggling with, and there's something that I worry about. So the first one is, I think the struggle at the moment is some of these clubs that I've sort of featured and stuff, they're really like low on volunteers, and the challenge then is you've got to get volunteers to run the club, but also there's some clubs out there that have got an abundance of volunteers and they're doing all of this stuff online. They've got all the social media accounts, and social rules at the moment, like it's where you need to be to sort of attract the new wave of supporters. Eastbourne Borough are a fantastic example of that. The TikTok videos are, if you haven't seen them, they're very, very good. So check them out. They're brilliant in it. But it's clubs like that. And then when you compare it to clubs that are just struggling to run, like, I think that's the biggest challenge. Like, you've got to entice new volunteers in to not only keep the club ticking over, but to sort of take it to that next level that people are expecting now. Like, they're expecting exposure across all of the platforms and the website and stuff.
Well, you're sort of expecting, you see it a lot, don't you? Non-league clubs, you have your older generation of people who are volunteers, don't you?
Yeah.
And you're sort of hoping that those younger people, younger generation who are coming through will go to non-league games, but also then step in and help and volunteer.
Yeah.
I think like someone like Leamington, I'm just going to pick Leamington out. When I went and did the commentary, there are quite a lot of young lads doing all the media stuff and stuff, which is great because that's their background. But then it's the other areas of the non-league, the other areas of the club where someone might not want to do that job. You know what I mean? And you do see that sort of, don't you?
Yeah. Nobody wants to do nothing for free, do they? So it's exactly like you said, Cookie. You got some great stories where this old boy that sweeps out the changing rooms might have been the club's top goal scorer 30 years ago. Do you know what I mean? And then suddenly, obviously, as life goes on, this new generation are coming in, and it's just like they probably want to be on the pitch. They don't really want to be helping out, and it's a tough situation because we see it all around us all the time. There's some unbelievable clubs in non-league that are like real sort of like diamonds in the dirt, and all they need is just that little bit of help because it's hard. I'm still involved in a non-league club and it's tough. The amount of work that I see people put in for free, it's incredible. It's incredible.
It's a real shame when you see the clubs then fade away. You know, like when you go on Twitter or X and you see this club's had to fold because of whatever. It's like what Walsall Wood, what a massive club Walsall Wood were, won promotion, got into step 4, and then it's just they've had to fold and finish, and you're like, what's happened there? Like, and obviously Coville, massive club, finishes up, but then they reform. And Nuneaton Borough is always one that happens and then comes back, and it's like this one. And I think this year, I think they're doing it properly in Nuneaton Town this time round, which is good to see. They just need someone strong in there, but when you go on and you see another club's gone, and you're like, oh, man, like
that's my worry. That's the second. That's my worry is the cost of living just as a person now is crazy. So the cost of running these clubs is getting higher and higher and stuff, and there's less and less sort of help, I would say, or like burden of help that these higher clubs in the Premier League are giving to these lower clubs, and I think it's a tricky time coming up where the next 5 years, if the finances don't change, you're probably going to see more and more of that situation like Walsall Wood happen. And for a lot of these communities, like just from doing it in a short space of time, from a lot of these like communities, the football club is their hub. It's the one place they've got left. There's like their old village hall, if you will. And I don't think a lot of people realise the importance and like the weight that a lot of these sort of small clubs, as they see them, play in people's lives. So that's my worry.
I think as well. I wouldn't be able to put my finger on an absolute level of where it changes, but I think you even look in like the National League North, even them clubs have got a money man that are ploughing money into a club.
Yeah.
You go, the more you creep down then leagues, you've got Gloria, who is, a marketing advisor in the day, and she's also the chairwoman of so-and-so. And there's no money being ploughed in, so then you're relying on gates, and you're relying on things like that. It's tough.
Yeah.
It's really tough.
You know what? I think it's also important for players as well. You know, players who get released from academies or get released from, or who find themselves out of a pro club. They've then got to find a club for themselves, and if they haven't got a non-league club because one isn't in their area or whatever, or they've got to travel so far, it can become tough. You know what I mean, for a player as well, not to have
price themselves.
Obviously, that's it. Yeah, and some people can go, "Oh, well, no point playing anymore," or whatever. But it's it's important for players as well.
I tell you one club I'd like you to reach out to, Chris, if you haven't already.
Okay.
You know the clubs like Jersey and Isle of Man that are just in the middle of nowhere.
Yeah,
and they're probably the only club on the island.
I may have reached out to Isle of Man. I may not have.
That'd be incredible.
Well, they play over in a league in the UK. They have to fly, don't they?
Their supporter group is incredible. Like, I've done a little bit of research on them and stuff, and spoken to some of their fans already. And they're a special little club. So I'd love to feature them. Yeah,
the chairman pays for the teams to come over on a plane, doesn't he?
Yeah,
it's incredible.
Yeah, it's some story.
I suppose you'd have to, though, because if you want to set a team up on an island, you can't expect teams to, because that's a big expense. So if you've got to coach flights, because as a player, if you're at a club, you're probably thinking, I don't want to pay. I mean, it's probably only 100. I don't know, I'm only guessing it's probably 100 quid flight or whatever. It's not far, but you're like, well, it's still 100 quid. You know what I mean? And so it's like it's probably a rule that league has said that you have to support the finances for these teams to come over and play it, otherwise you can't be in the league. I don't know. There must be something in place where he has to do something.
Yeah, but if you think about it, though, he's done it the right way, because there's other ways that you can get over there as well. Now, I'm not talking about like swimming or anything like that, but you can go over on the ferry, or like,
ferries ain't cheap anymore. Bloody hell!
Oh no,
I know what you're saying.
Make them swim. Home advantage. That would be an advantage.
Here's your warm up, lads. Your warm up, lads. You just got to swim over there. Go on, get over there quick.
Well, how long will it take to swim? We'll have to ask the internet.
That could be a next year's challenge. It's a 3-way swim. See who wins. That's for it.
You got to do it in style for one game, though, ain't you? And go over on jet skis or something like that. It'd be incredible, wouldn't it?
James Bond style. Full kit.
That's it.
Kit man going mad because you've got the kit wet already.
They would as well, wouldn't they? Absolutely bonkers.
Yeah.
That's one you could do. Kit man. I mean, we're looking for a kit man, aren't we? We would love to have.
We know a very good one.
We do know a very good one. But Kitman, they must see some stuff.
Yeah.
They must like, oh God. I mean, we all see some stuff anyway when we're involved in football.
Stories.
I've seen Lee's arse a lot of times. So, he's not afraid to get it out.
Cheers, Cookie.
Park to Pitches. I want to get on to Park to Pitches. Very new. We were happy to sponsor half a page and be in the magazine, which is to support you. But yeah, Park to Pitches magazine you've created. Tell us how that idea came about. How did that come to life?
So it was back in June, July time, I think. I subscribed to. Well, I used to subscribe to 442 magazine. Then I switched and started reading When Saturday Comes, and I was like, "This is brilliant." And they do feature some non-league in there, but it sort of made me think, I'm doing all of this through the turnstile features online, but I'm a lover of print. I like print magazines. I'm called old man because I always read printed newspapers as well. But there isn't anything like When Saturday Comes or like 442 for non-league football. And I was thinking, well, it could be another avenue to bring people together. I'd already had like a base of contacts like you guys that are working in and around non-league and are like passionate about it and write about it on their own blogs, etc. So I was like, well, how about we create something that can be in print form for non-league, and bring it like once a quarter. So as you know, the WhatsApp chat was created back in July, and sort of conversation started from there. And yeah, it sort of snowballed. I mean, I looking back, I don't know how it's got to the point it is now, but yeah, it's very early days still. Obviously, it's the first edition's out. The second edition's due out in February. But yeah, it's exciting. It's very exciting.
How do you work out? So when you had this big WhatsApp group and stuff, Christian, how do you know who you want in it and stuff like that? And what type of people were you involving in it?
Yeah, so I mean, some of them I'd already featured. So there's a few ground hoppers that I'd already done like interviews for the Turnstile website on. So I sort of knew their background. I knew what they would feature and what they would cover. The first edition, I sort of gave free rein and sort of said to everyone, what would you like to cover? What would you be comfortable writing about? And then I sort of tallied it all up and made sure there was no overlap and we weren't too heavy in one area. Subsequently, I realised now, looking back and reading it again and the survey and stuff, we were weighted a little bit too much in the south. So in the next edition, we're going to try and balance that up a little bit. But essentially, like, there was some elements that I wanted to cover, and I wanted to have a broad scope. I didn't want it just to be like a fan magazine where we're writing about our club sort of thing. I wanted it to be interesting. So we obviously got the feature in there from Aaron, the scout, about his sort of world of being a scout for West Brom in non-league, and how if someone wanted to do the same, how they could. And then you've got David, who does the commentary for Bedworth. How he got into that and sort of how he finds that and how someone else could. So I wanted it to be varied, very much sort of insightful, but behind the scenes as well. And then, yeah, the second edition is sort of following on from that, that sort of overview. I wanted to do it program style as well. So obviously the magazine is program 40 pages, 150 for the initial magazine, so half price, and then the second edition it'd be full price, so it'd be £3, which for a quarterly magazine I think is
absolutely
price.
mate.
It's great quality. Like obviously I ordered one, and when it come I was like, this is like some serious thought has gone into it. How was that process finding, I don't know, is it what sort of material, what sort of paper to use, what sort of size, all that? How did that? It's obviously very new to you. You've not done anything like that, have you?
No, I've never done. So I've done in my day job. I've done like printed timetables for like buses. So I've worked with print before, but I had a lot of help from Colin at Total Grassroots. So he is basically an intermediary for a lot of non-league clubs to help them with grants, to help them with getting their pitch and stuff. But before he set up this company, he was a journalist. So he gave me massive tips on like what to do, what not to do, what to steer clear of, what you should feature and what you shouldn't and stuff. So he was really like a go-to for me with ideas and stuff. And I was bouncing ideas of like pricing and stuff. But yeah, it was, I knew I didn't want it to be big. I didn't want it to be like a newspaper size. I didn't want it to be A4. I wanted it to be something that you could handy. And then when I was thinking about it, and it sort of ties in with the Through the Turnstile and how popular a program is and how much people like treasure programs, printed programs.
Yeah.
It just all sort of lined up, and I was like, well, that's what I want. I want it to be glossy finish as well, so it feels like a program as well. And it sort of all just spiraled into one. And I was like, when we were sent like a sample of it, I was like, that's exactly what I've got in my head. So yeah, I'm glad you liked the coffee when you got it cooked.
Yeah, like, it's brilliant. Like, I was, but it's good though, because if you're a customer who's got that, you're going to go, someone's really thought about this. They've not just thrown it together. Like, you've really, and like from speaking to you about it and stuff, like, you've really put your heart and soul into it, which is amazing. And did you ever think it? Like, how many copies have you sold to date?
So to date, so it's been out since the first week in November, and we've sold just over 400 copies,
which is like fantastic.
Yeah.
And like, someone come up to me. I went to the Averstone game against Nuneaton Griff last week, I think it was. And I don't know if I told you about this, but someone basically, I was speaking to someone, Baz, and someone else was there, and he was like, "Oh, like, I saw your ad in the Parts of Pictures," and I was like, "Oh yeah, like that, yeah, that's Christian's magazine, like, yeah, like, brilliant." And he was like, "Yeah, like, I love it, like, you know, and this, that," and I was like, "Yeah, like, it's amazing, like, you know, and the stories in there for different people," and so like someone there, he was like, "Oh, fair," like, I was like, "Thank you for supporting him and buying it, like, he would appreciate that." So it's like,
yeah, that's crazy to hear that.
just for people then that are listening now or listening to this, Christian, what kind of stories and themes can readers expect then in what you're doing now?
Yeah, so essentially, for the first edition, we had a bit of like professional advice and like their story into their roles. There was a few club sort of spotlights, like Keep Your Eyes On. So Trevor, who writes for multiple different publications, he wrote about 2 clubs that people should keep their eyes on. One of them being Cray Valley, one of the teams that are featured on the website. I would say expect an absolute hot pot of bit of everything. It's not a magazine that's just going to be club features. It features everything. It features like the non-league programs and the importance of them to non-league teams. There's some real personal stories in there. There's stories about charity days that support non-league, and obviously coming forward into like the second edition, which I'm editing now. I think I'm 1 or 2 stories away from being complete, and then it's me making it look nice. There's a story that I've written in there, which I won't say about, but it's a story that someone reached out to me after reading the first magazine and basically asked, "Is this something you're looking for?" And let's just say it encompasses everything that's brilliant about non-league football. Yes, I'm generally excited for people to just read that, if I'm being honest, because it's such a lovely story and such a lovely feature. So yeah,
it's another platform that you're giving people to share non-league as well. Obviously, you've got the Through the Turnstiles, but you've also got this now, which is another, and you're becoming a real advocate for non-league and sharing out there, and you need more people like that.
Absolutely,
it's great. Like, you know what I mean, and
keeping it real as well. Like, you know, it's so easy to go onto social media now and read through certain things, but you're keeping it authentic. And I know I've used that word a lot in the last previous pods, but it really is, isn't it? Like, there's nothing, like you said, that feeling of when you get a program. I've still got some old programs now. Do you know what I mean? And like, it's that feeling of opening up the pages and thinking, I might get to know a little bit about this player today who I watch every single week, and you know, there might be some stories in there about him that I didn't know, and then just that word authentic, isn't it? I think it's brilliant. You're giving people stories that, like, you're being accountable for the old school and going, we're going to keep it authentic. This is what we're going to do. It's still educating people. It's getting people reading properly through that program style. I think it's brilliant. I really do.
No, that's good. Yeah, appreciate that. Yeah, no, I think that's the thing. I wanted. Sorry, Cook.
That's all right.
I was conscious of the fact, because when I was speaking to like different people, they were like, "Oh, are you charging for the magazine?" And I said, "Yeah." I said, the magazine, it's not, the intention is not to be, a money machine. It's never anything that I do with like the website and the magazine. It's not set up for profit. Anything that we've made from this first magazine, it's staying in an account ready to be put to use in the second edition. So that's not the intention, but I said I want to give people something that they feel like they're getting their money's worth for it. So you can get free information from anywhere, but I feel like some of the stuff that is in there is worth a couple of quid at the end of the day, And so, as you were saying.
And it's coming from the horse's mouth as well, isn't it, really?
Yeah.
And that's what people want to see and read,
I
think.
Yeah. Yeah, some really, like we were saying before we joined like the WhatsApp chat, with all of like the contributors in, they're some of the most passionate people like I've featured and like I was speaking to as well, and they're really they're a good bunch. So yeah, they're really good. They got some good stuff.
Yeah, definitely, and you're doing a great job with it, honestly, and I'm looking forward to seeing what's comes out next. And what is their aims for it, or are you just rolling with it at the minute and just going, right, let's do another one and feature this, or do you have a few goals set for the next couple, or not yet?
They're not. I wouldn't say they were set. There's some loose goals in my head that I want to, by the edition, like the fourth edition, my goal was to break the 1,000 sold in terms of the fourth edition selling 1,000. So that's the goal. I think that's the only goal I've really set in terms of like long-term plan. I just want it to be, I know there's been printed magazines in the past that have sort of come and gone. My goal is to be something that is constant and continuously like innovating what is being presented. It's not like we've got a shortage of stories or shortage of things to talk about. There's so many good things. It's just, getting hold of them. Which obviously the more I've done this, the easier it is because people are now coming to me with them, which is brilliant. But yeah, that's the long-term goal, I suppose, is just being a player in the field for non-league sort of thing.
I want to know, what was your feeling when that first sale come through? When you saw that first sale order, what was your feeling?
I was so nervous, if I'm being honest. It was something that was obviously started in July. We launched it in the 2nd or 3rd of November. I was just so nervous at the start. I listed it and I was just like, oh, what if no one buys it? It's going to be so embarrassing. Like, I've done such a big hype and build up. I've got 250 copies sat in the spare room, like ready to be gone. And yeah, in that first 12 hours, we sold 100. So I was like, okay, we're okay. And I was just like, it was a feeling of like, yes, and huge amount of relief. But then it switched, because then I was like, oh, there's 100 going out today. That means there's going to be 100 set of eyes on this who are going to be judging it. Are they going to like it? But thankfully, the only thing they've said is a more even split north and south, but everyone said that they've really enjoyed the read, and it's like you say, it's been put together with love, which is the only thing I've really tried to do and get across, that it wasn't just something that was slapped together. I tried to think about the whole magazine from start to finish, and not just taking on advertisers that have no relevance to people. Like, I tried to get adverts in like yourselves that, people would be interested in, and there's some photographers in there. Like, everyone always needs a photographer if you've got an event or a wedding. So I wanted to keep it relevant, the whole thing, not just the content, but the advertisement as well. So yeah, it was relief and joy.
No, it is though, because it's like when we started this and we released our first episode, and you're like, I just want someone to listen to it, and when you sort of load up the data and you see how many downloads, you're like, flipping it, people actually like it, and then you get feedback, and it makes you feel like you are doing something good. And people,
it's what keeps you going.
100%.
Keeps you going.
Yeah, 100%. Yeah.
We when we had that little break cookie, and people were badgering us, weren't they? When's the next one? When's the next one? And it just you just stop for a minute and you just think, and you're like, we're doing a good thing here, and it's people appreciate it, and that's all you want, isn't it? Like, realistically,
it's also like I've guests as well. Guests have gone, thank you for letting me share my story, and I'm like, no, Will was like, oh, thank you for coming on, we really appreciate it, and they're like, no, thank you, because like Rich Lavery, absolutely unbelievable non-league career. Obviously Kettering town manager now, but unbelievable playing career. And he was buzzing, weren't he? And it's like when he told his story and stuff like that, like we loved it, he loved it. And at the end, I think it was sort of fair. He was sort of like, no, thank you for letting me share that, because now it's out there and, my story's been told. And that's sort of similar to the magazine and sort of like, the Groundhoppers or the Scouts or their story's been told, and people, there's going to be so many people who want to share their story.
But I think
you get asked them questions though, don't you? And it's like, I can't remember where we went, Cookie, and we don't even need to name it. But somebody went to us. I bet you lads are earning a bit of bob from that, ain't you? No, we're not, and we don't want to either.
No, that's not what.
When you mentioned that question about obviously charging for the magazine and and one of the print, I was thinking, like we've had it before. People saying, I bet we do, but honestly, nothing. But we don't care about that. We love doing it for the stories, for the guests, for ourselves, and for and that, and the money's well, we don't make anything anyway. But it's it's not about that.
It's not the be all and end all.
So it's,
no, because you walk out of it and you think to yourself, I've learnt something new today, or I found something out today that I didn't know.
Yeah.
And it's like, if you're involved in football, it's one of them things that you always want to know something, or you want to learn something new, or you want to know about this club or that player.
Yeah.
And, it's about putting yourself in the right way and asking the right questions, and for you writing the things that you're interested in, but also other people are going to be interested in.
Yeah.
And, the fact that you've sold 100 copies in the first 12 hours, it speaks volumes, doesn't it?
Yeah,
crazy.
It speaks volumes.
Yeah,
definitely.
To be honest, I'm not surprised though when you not about that, but when you said about your guests have said, thank you to you two, but make you two feel awkward now. But I think it's obviously listening to the episodes and editing some of the episodes as well. I think the difference between how your style, basically, you're not them sort of podcast hosts that you're trying to be the star. You very much put the guest as the star, which I don't think you get a lot of now. A lot of people do podcasts to be podcast famous or, make a name for themselves, which you guys don't. You very much keep your guests as the person that, essentially that people are coming on to listen to, and you sort of facilitate that and do it in a really smooth and nice way. So I'm not surprised that people come on and thank you, because they're very much allowed to express their stories how they want to. So I think that's a credit to how you sort of guide people through it.
Thank you for that. I really appreciate it, because that's an aim, isn't it? That was our goal and our sort of thing. Is this is just a platform to let people share their journey, isn't it? It's and it's about them at the end of the day. And
it's irrelevant. Like you look at the higher leagues, and they've not even got to tell people what's going on in their lives, because it'll be in the tabloids or it'll be on social media. Whereas we have some people that are dying to tell stories, and the only place that they can do it is around the mates, and they're sick of them hearing it, or in the pub. Whereas we've heard some incredible stories, ain't we, Cookie? Like just like the one that sticks out for me all the time is the Groundhopper Danny. When he come on and opened up about his mental health, honestly, I walked out and I just thought, like, that's incredible. Like, the courage to do that, and like, he was nervous, wasn't he? And he absolutely smashed it. And then on the flip side of that, he's messaging me and you, Cookie, going, I've had loads of people reach out to me in a positive way. Some people have come to me with their stories, and that's what it does, doesn't it? Like, and money's irrelevant.
Yeah.
You're not good. You don't pay money for a good story. People will tell you a good story. That's what that's what they'll do.
That's what holidays are for. You know, the money is the thing that gets you to the holiday to make the memories. That's all you remember. You don't remember how much you paid for it. Like you just want you want the memories at the end of it. That's the.
But Danny, the non-lead dad, he's very similar to Girls Go Ground Hopping.
Yes.
So he takes his 2 little boys to different non-league games.
I think I interviewed him actually after he was on the pod. So he's on he's on the Turnstile. So we done a little follow up with him. Yeah, he's cracking story.
Brilliant.
Yeah.
Which is a cool thing, and
I love that.
But yeah, I was badgering him because I wanted his story to be told, like you know what I mean, for other people's benefits, and I think he's buzzing who did it. To be fair, I just want to go on to a bit of FCAs again. Because we have to talk about your gold award. We have to talk.
Do we? Do we have to?
We have to share that. We have to. Do you have any plans? Did anything like come off the back of that? Did you meet some cool people there, and what sort of people did you meet there?
Yeah, I mean, to be honest, I'm not great at the whole big room networking. I was very much which is it probably surprised people that I know because I'm quite a loud person and nothing really phases me, but that's because I know them. When it's a new situation, I'm quite insular and quite shy. And that was a room full of some big names. There was, I think they said...
It's very intimidating, isn't it?
Oh, yeah. Like Mark White walking past you, going to the buffet, and then you've got Gilberto Silva on the table over there. David Seaman was there. I was like, yeah, this is crazy. I need to sit down. But yeah, no, we were on the table with... who were we on the table with? I can't remember their names now. But yeah, we were on a table with Girl Fanzine. So they basically, for the last 15 years, they've covered women's football and championed women's football across the whole of the UK. And they were brilliant. But in terms of like networking stuff, on our table when we got there was a mystery, like the mystery kit boxes. So we opened our one up and we got Sydney City, I think, Sydney FC.
Oh, cool.
So yeah, it was quite. I didn't expect to see them. It was quite a nice shirt.
Yeah.
And then I was outside and actually speaking to someone, and he went, "Oh, are you enjoying the awards?" I said, "Yeah, it's good." I said, "I'm nervous. I think I'm up in the next half." And I said, "What are you up for?" He said, "Oh no, I'm the sponsor. I'm the mystery kit guy. I put all the boxes on there." So connected with him afterwards and seeing if there's anything. He does a lot of like Europe stuff, and the magazine is actually Parts Pictures has got a little bit of a German following.
Nice.
So there might be a little bit of a tie-up in the future of something we can do with a little German non-league club.
Yeah, definitely.
So yeah, but in terms of like the wider networking, I was a bit too intimidating to do much. It was quite there's a lot of people there.
How much of your team did you take with you, Chris?
So for the awards, because it was only the Turnstile side that was nominated, because this was put in when it was just a website. So that's just me, essentially. Parks the Pictures was just an idea at that stage and things. So it was just me, and I took my other half, Emma. Obviously, she was thrilled at being a Millwall fan going to the Tottenham Stadium, but, you know, I got her through the door.
One thing that I wanted to ask you, because you've already plucked my ears up a little bit already with what you said.
Okay.
You had a buffet?
Yeah.
Well, yes and no. It was bowls, but in buffet form. So you go up to like a hot counter, and there was a starter. So what was the starter? I couldn't have the starter. I can't remember what it was now. I couldn't eat it. Then there was a choice of 3 mains, all in different bowls. I think there was like pork, there was a chicken one and a beef one. And then there was a sticky toffee sort of pudding with like ice cream or custard.
He's outdone us there, Cookie, by the way.
He has outdone us, yeah.
We didn't have, what did we have for starter? We had a bread roll.
Mash, wasn't it?
A bread roll?
Bread roll as a starter.
Was it a pie?
And then we had a pie, which was actually quite nice.
Mm.
And then, but I was about 6 pints deep at this point, weren't I?
I was going to say, I wasn't interested, because as soon as we walked in there, they had buckets of beer on all of the high tables. You could just help yourself. There was Budweisers.
Oh my God.
So I had about 5 of them to calm me down a little bit, but...
Spurs have sorted them out there. We had the league champions at the time, and it was It was good, weren't it, Cookie? But listening to yours, I'm jealous now. Them football mystery shirts as well. I collect them. That's incredible.
To be fair, though, I will have to say it was a large, which I was really pleased with, but it's a muscle fit large. So I tried it on, and it looks like I've been put through a sausage machine. So it's not the most flattering.
Brilliant. Well, maybe, who knows, we could be there next year, and maybe we might be back again, and you could be there, and we could actually meet in person.
Yes,
that would be brilliant.
You can see how tall Cookie is, Christian.
Yeah, I'm only 5'7", so it's not going to be. How tall are you, Cookie?
6'4".
Oh.
6'4". Yeah.
Jeez.
Yeah.
Won't make you feel too bad, mate, because you'll still be looking down at me. So I'll be all right.
That's fine. You can go in the middle then.
Yeah. That's it. We're going to go on some quick fires, mate.
Yeah,
let's get quick fires. We do these. So I have had to obviously alter them a little bit, but still sort of similar theme. What's the best play you've watched live?
Ooh, best player. It's probably Thierry Henry.
Wow.
What a name,
Yeah. Either, to be fair, it could be Thierry Henry or Pires. And I only say that because Pires was when Gilles got Arsenal away at Highbury in the FA Cup, he come on and just looked like a different gravy. Obviously, he's like coming on and they brought the big guns on, and but probably Henry's the best player I've seen live.
Yeah,
I'm gonna push you here then, Chris. What about in non-league?
Ooh,
that's a tough one.
I've seen in non-league. Do you know what? Ooh, that is a tough one. I'm torn between two.
Go for it.
So the first one is Reece Butler for Chatham, centre half. Just everything you want in a centre half, essentially. Doesn't take any prisoners. He's strong, dominant, keeps everyone in line. And just you can count on sort of a regular, consistent,
old school centre back.
Yeah, but does chip in with a few worldies every now and then as well, which is always good to see. And I've gone blank on his name now, and it's going to drive me mad. He's currently at Hastings, centre forward for Hastings.
Don't know many Hastings players.
What league are Hastings in?
They're in the same league as Chatham, I think. Let me just check. It's going to really annoy me now.
Because he asked. I thought I'd ask him this because he asked me the same question and it's the hardest question ever. David
Rodari or Davide. It's Davide. Yeah, Davide. Yeah, he was different. When I saw him play, he was very, very good. Centre forward. Looks a little bit like a non-league Grealish, if I'm being honest. He's got the old slick back hair, so yeah.
He sounds French.
French Grealish. There you go.
Yeah.
That's it.
On me, favourite memory in football, Christian?
Probably. The obvious one is it's going to be Gillingham based. The obvious one would be Wigan 2000 promotion after 1999 City. But I was quite young. I was only 9. So I'd probably go for the Simeon Jackson last minute winner.
Player.
Yeah, Simeon Jackson. What
Canadian.
Yes. What a player.
Wow. Didn't he play for Cobb as well, Cookie?
Play for...
I'd have to do some research.
I swear he did.
If he went Cobb. I know he went... he left us, didn't he? I can't remember where he went now. Did he go Norwich? Maybe. No, not Norwich. I've gone blank. Yeah, but last minute winner.
This isn't a quick fire question, but I just wanted to ask you this. Mm-hmm. Did you play?
Yeah, I did. Yeah, I used to. I just told you I was 5'7", but I used to be a keeper.
Really?
Yeah, up until 19. So I played for. It used to be Borstal, and then they sort of merged into Holland and Blair for a couple of years. and then after that, the whole team sort of left, and then I went to Sittingbourne as like backup for a few months, and then sort of just that was it. I sort of just fell out of love with it, but yeah, no, I was a decent little keeper.
I have just researched Simeon Jackson. Yes, he did go to Coventry.
I knew he did.
Gillingham, then went to Norwich.
It was Norwich, yeah.
Then went abroad somewhere, Millwall, Coventry City, Barnsley, Blackburn Rovers, Walsall, Grimsby, St Mirren, Kilmarnock, Stevenage, Chelmsford, Kings Lynn, and apparently he is at AFC Sudbury.
He was rapid.
He was quality.
Yeah.
Absolutely. What a striker. So good.
There we go. Favourite TV series or programme? What do you like to dive into?
I quite like Schitt's Creek for a bit, but now I've just started Modern Family again. So I do quite like it. It's a bit slapsticks. It's easy.
Something different. Very different.
Superb. Biggest name in your phone book?
It's quite a good one, actually. Probably Guy Mowbray.
Wow.
Guy Mowbray, yeah. Fair play.
Yeah, we've done a podcast with him during lockdown. And yeah, the only way he could get onto the Zoom was by giving me his number. So I was texting him beforehand and stuff, sorting stuff out. And yeah, he was quite a character. He was quite.
I love it.
Yeah.
Favourite takeaway? What do you like to say?
Chinese. Easy.
Oh, he's assertive there, weren't he? He knew.
I know. I know that
what's one. What's the Chinese he's like down south, mate?
Hit and miss.
Yeah.
You got if you find a good one, stick with it. Don't change.
Yeah.
But yeah, no, not too bad. Not too bad.
Superb. Good one. Idol growing up or your favourite footballer growing up?
My idol growing up was David Seaman. Being a keeper, yeah.
And he was there at the awards.
Yeah, didn't know that until we got home. Did not know that. They announced it afterwards. Oh, thanks to Gilberto Silva and Seaman for attending. Didn't see him, didn't announce it. So yeah, I was absolutely fuming.
How'd you not miss him? He's massive.
Yeah, I know. We were table 46 or 46, so we were right at the right hand back. So he was stage front. So I was shaking too much by the time I was going up that far.
Do you remember your first live game you went to? Must have been Gillingham game.
Yeah, I don't. All I remember is it was the old block pavement sort of terracing, and it was all like slabs of stone. All I remember was that. I just remember back then when it was Gillingham, the team were just massive. So everyone was massive to me. I know I was young, but yeah, I can't remember who it would be, but it would have been a Gills game at home. Yeah.
This is a different one for a non-player. Superstitions.
I did keep this in case you have any superstitions.
I suppose when I was playing, I had a superstition that my gloves always went on last. I don't know if that's just practical or not, but I always put my left glove on first and then my right glove. And I'd always wear, so Seaman was my idol growing up, but then Jason Brown sort of was my Gillingham keeper idol. And after a game once, he gave me his captain armband. And so that always was on the right shoulder, and that was always the last thing I'd done on. So that was probably the only superstitions I had. Bit of a weird one, though.
I know you like travelling. I know you like your holidays. Where's your favourite holiday destination?
Either America or Italy. Italy for the food, nice. America for the adventures.
Fair play.
Yeah.
Superb. Best team night out that you've had, if you've had one with a team?
Do you know what? Yeah, I've got one actually. We entered a Butlins football tournament, and that was special. Yeah. We went down, I remember the final, we went down to, we had 11 players, we had 4 injuries going into the final, because it's like one of them round robins, so it's like constant. We picked up injuries, so we had 11 people out there. One person could barely walk. Then we had someone go off injured, so we were down to 10 and a walking wounded. And then someone got sent off, so we were down to 9. and we'd gone 1-up from a corner, and then for the rest, I think it was the last 20 minutes of the game, it was literally backs to the wall.
Yeah.
And then from that, obviously, there was celebrations, which I can't remember, but all I remember was the match and then blurriness.
There's one in Maidenhead, isn't there, at Butlins?
Yeah, that's where isn't the darts there? Pretty sure
Yeah,
they have
yeah.
darts
I think
on there.
we were at the Bognor one, I think. So
Do you know,
Okay.
I've never been to they have like these 90s weekends and
Yeah.
stuff. I don't think I'd be able to do it. I think I'd probably die. So
I was meant to go to one in April 2020, but something got in the way of that. So
yeah, something.
ruined it.
We're going to end on this one.
Okay.
3 people, dead or alive, to go on a night out with. I've brought it back, Davo.
Yeah, nice, like it.
Oh, I might keep it a little bit football themed ish.
Yeah.
Ooh, okay.
I'll go Jimmy Bullard.
Absolutely.
Class.
Yeah,
He'd be unreal.
especially if he gives me one of those kits he's just had released, the Bullard kits. Love that. Jackie Grealish.
Yeah.
No reasons needed. You see what he's like at the celebrations.
Do you not think they'd be quite similar, though, Bullard and Grealish? But is that a good
True.
thing?
Yeah, too mad. Yeah, it could be.
But it's a Midlands lad and a Southern lad. I think
Yeah,
Jimmy Bullard's
true.
funnier. Jimmy Bullard's
Yeah.
incredible.
Yeah, I would love to.
Grealish would be good, though.
Yeah.
Yeah, Grealish should just get wrecked, wouldn't he?
Yeah,
That's
to
what
be
I
fair,
think.
yeah.
Whereas I feel like Jimmy, you could have a proper chat with him, and like, you know, you watch him on that golf program. He's incredible.
Start the night with Grealish and then end it with when he's too pissed and Bullard can take it.
Yeah.
And third one, I'm going to keep it comedy as well. So this might be skewed because I've just seen him in stand-up, but I'm going to go Rob Beckett just because he loves the football as well.
Yeah.
But he's just so down to earth and it'd be quite a laugh, I reckon. So yeah,
Good 3. That's a solid 3.
it's a strange
Solid
3,
three.
but there's some laughs.
But
there.
they're the best nights, mate.
Yeah, have a little bit of wackiness.
I think it's a 3 that would work as well.
Yeah.
Yeah,
100%. Like they'd all
Set
get
it up.
on, I reckon.
yeah.
Set it up right now, yeah.
If you're listening, lads.
Yeah, I can imagine. Yeah.
Yeah. That's it. But yeah, thank you so much, Christian. Honestly,
Thank
this
you.
has been class. Like, you've been great. What a story you have. What a journey it is. Things that you've done, the things that you're contributing to non-league football and giving that platform to people and giving it to fans is incredible. So keep doing it. Keep it up. Where can people find Park to Pictures and the Through the Turnstile? Where can people find it? We will obviously put it down below in links and stuff, but where can they find it?
So across all of the social channels, it's TTTONLF. So that's all of the handles of that. And then the website is the same. It's TTTONLF.com. So that's Through the Turnstile non-league football. So yeah, luckily enough, I got them all in before someone else grabbed them. So yeah.
Where can they buy the magazine?
Oh yeah, and the magazine. So there is a link on the website. There's a little drop down. You can buy it, and it's also pinned on the Facebook page. You can buy it. It's on an eBay store.
Yeah, lovely.
But yeah, there's only 50.
yeah,
There's only 50 copies left. So be quick.
Yeah, make sure you buy them. But yeah, thank you, mate. Really appreciate it.
thank
And we obviously look forward to keep working with you. You've been a massive help for us, like I said. So yeah, it's a great relationship that has blossomed and formed. So yeah, thank you. And I'm glad that we've got to do this with you, mate. It's been really cool.
Absolutely.
Yeah, no, I've enjoyed it. Really enjoyed it.
So yeah, happy days.
Thank you
There
very
we
much.
go. Davo would usually stand up and shake your hand and do all that sort of thing, but obviously it's a very different environment this time, right? Yeah, like it's a very different ending, but yeah, sound.
Cool.
That's a wrap.